All right. How is everybody doing out there in Colts Nation? Welcome back to episode 4 of Unstable. This is Jeff Steckel, aka Big Steck, always with Alex from Chaotically Intolerant. How you doing, man?
OJ died, so
So really good news or really bad news, depending on how you view it.
I saw somebody say I don't know how to feel about this, and that's
Yeah.
that's where you can leave it. I will say he is a convicted felon, not for those murders, but for the Las Vegas robberies. So take that how you wanna view it. But at least he can rest easy knowing that his wife's murderer is finally dead.
2,000 yards in a season, man. I'm just saying.
Yeah, let's talk about 2,000
In
yards.
the football world, yeah, he was one of the greats, and
When
I
I
guess we'll
think
just
of
kind of leave it at
OJ,
that.
I think of 2,000 yards in 14 games because holy shit, we've never seen that ever since then. That is actually, if we want to talk about that, that's
And like
crazy.
in
2,000
the time
yards.
that he did it too was pretty impressive.
Like offense wasn't exactly like obviously
Yeah.
running the ball was a lot more dominant, but offense in general was not what it was. What it is now, and to run for 2,000 yards is crazy. Like that
Yeah.
guy could fucking run.
He's a great
So,
running back.
and he's probably running faster than that Bronco. So
Like we don't know he did it. Um, all right. Well, everyone's already logged off of the show, so thank everybody for being here. Obviously I come from Curtis Podcast Network on this AFC South show, so as always, head over there, give it likes, give it views, give it shares, tell your friends, and if you want anything Colts, you're in the right spot for Unstable. I guess we'll just kind of kick it off. I know last time we did a mock draft. I think this time we're going to kind of run through our schedule, kind of wait. I mean, I don't think they've released the actual, the dates that it's going to happen, but we know who we're facing. So we can kind of
yeah,
just do a way too early record prediction for the Colts, just kind of looking through each game.
yeah,
I think that's how we're gonna start it off.
it's good with me.
So Colts, they will face Houston twice. So Alex, how do you think both of those games will go?
Well, I don't. I part of me is I think we're gonna start. I think we're gonna start tough. I really do hope they put us against Houston week 18 again. I really think it's Colts and Texans more on a collision course at this point. Um, I know Jags fans are like, yay, we don't have a number one wide receiver, so we're bragging about that somehow. Um, which is just insane. Like, first off, don't even talk to me about knowing football when you haven't won a Super Bowl. Just
That goes
wear a
for
ring.
everyone in the division, man.
Where's your ring? Where's your ring?
Like, big boys are talking.
The Kings are talking here. The no, I actually I love making fun of that comeback, but I really do hate that comeback. That's like it's just like people just use it to like shut down any person trying to actually speak about football. But I
It
did
sounds
hear the
too much like
guys
the
on
Cowboys.
yeah. What's the Jaguars? Is it Third and Teal? Right? That's the show called.
Yeah,
That's the
third
show
deal.
name.
Yeah.
They were talking about they don't think they need a number one wide receiver. I will say that is like the biggest cope I've ever heard. Like, oh, we overpaid for Calvin Ridley. We don't need a number one wide receiver. Like, who doesn't? Come on, man. Like, what are we doing? If you, I understand if like you want to maybe look at like the Chiefs and say, hey, look, they have a tight end as their number one wide receiver, but Travis Kelsey is essentially a wide receiver. I mean,
Yeah.
he's not a blocking tight end. Like, and he knows that. I think every single person on the planet knows he's not a blocking tight end. He's a new generation tight end. And just look at every team. What about every single team that was in the Super Bowl or in the divisional round this year? We could go through the teams in the divisional round. Lions and Bucks, Mike Evans, Amon-Ra St. Brown, right? Niners and who do the Niners play? Packers, right? Was it Niners Packers? Yeah, it was. It was. Niners, I mean, name someone. Just name a player on their offense. They have everyone.
Well, like
Packers.
my whole argument with this was like I think you'd have to go back almost 6 years before you can actually make an argument that a wide receiver one doesn't, pay off. And I
Yeah.
think that goes back to the Eagles. Like they had a Corey Clement, whatever. They had Alshon Jeffrey, but I don't know if he was ever like a true one. I think he was kind of making that push to it, but I don't know if I'd consider him that. They had Zach Ertz, who was kind of in that top tier of tight ends. But I think
Yeah.
it's really because you go back, you go to the Chiefs, like you said, they had Kelsey, and at some point they had Tyreek Hill. You go back to the Patriots, they had Gronk and Edelman. You go to the Bucks, they had Mike Evans. So I think you do.
There is just like that's just insane to me. Like that's just crazy. Like saying you don't need a number one wide receiver. Like maybe okay if you want to substitute a tight end for the wide receiver.
Well, I mean,
like
in their defense, there was well, with all these gadget plays and all this stuff that they run, I don't know if it's necessarily. I'm like, but if you look back at the previous, so many Super Bowl champs, they had at least a number one pass catching option.
Yeah,
and I can't. Who would Jacksonville say would be that?
Etienne is Etienne like the number one pass catching option?
Like, could you?
Which he's great. Like I don't want to say that he's not
I
great.
mean, he's a great
but like
running back.
What is he going to run? A wheel route? Is that like
Yeah.
your best route he can run? That's crazy.
I think you do need a one. But
like you just even if he's not like maybe like when we say number one, like you don't need like a number, a top 5 wide receiver. Like you just need someone who's like consistent, someone who is there, someone who's healthy. Like
yeah,
like that is just crazy to say. Like we don't need a number one wide receiver. That is just insane. That's like saying that's the quarterback by committee. That's the running back by committee. If you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none. Like
and that was kind of gonna be a segue into the end of it. And this brought up an old conversation that I had with Curtis. I think in the offseason last year was a text message thing, and he asked the question, "Who was the last running back to go to a Pro Bowl and win a Super Bowl?" I kind of got it right off, if I'm being honest. The last running back to go to a Pro Bowl and win a Super Bowl.
And win a Super Bowl.
I mean, be voted to the Pro Bowl, however you want to word it.
Edge? Or no, Joseph Adai?
No, I'm not talking. It's not a Colt.
No, I'm trying to think back on.
It was Marshawn Lynch back with the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, duh! How did I not put that together?
One pretty quick.
Yeah,
it was a good question, and I was like, okay. And this kind of answers the question of why running backs aren't paid either. Now I'm gonna pause. I don't know if you might kind of give the give all 3 of our viewers a chance to think about it. Who is the last All-Pro running back to also win a Super Bowl?
This one I have no clue, but Emmitt Smith.
I think he was the season rushing leader to win a Super Bowl, but he wasn't All-Pro. I mean, he might have been that year, but there was one I think more recently than that.
More recently,
like a little more recently.
A little bit, okay.
Slightly more recently than that.
Slightly more recently. So it must have been what, like 90, 97, 98?
Getting close.
Like in that time period?
It was in 1999, and it was Marshall Faulk. So it's been 25 years since an All-Pro running back won a Super Bowl. Why aren't they paid? Why don't they pay? I think that's the one group you can make an argument that we don't like. You have to have a good running back or a couple of good backs, but it's not necessarily like I need the Adrian Peterson. I need, I mean, Jonathan Taylor, when healthy is pretty pivotal to our offense, but I don't know if we necessarily need him. I mean, Moss, I wouldn't call him an All-Pro, Pro Bowl running back in most cases, but he had a great year behind a really good line. Like, do you really need? I think that's really to me the only position group you can make that we don't really need a one. You know, I think wide
Yeah.
receiver is a different. I think you do. It takes so. If you have a wide receiver that keeps defenders or like defensive coordinators and defensive players up at night, that you need that. If they have to
Yeah.
double cover him, that means everyone else isn't. So I think
Yeah, because I think when you have like a really good running back, like I get how are you like, you know what I mean? Like how are you pulling extra guys away when it comes to like running the ball? Like obviously you go into a run versus a pass defense, right? But like
yeah.
you're not pulling extra guys. I guess like I'm trying to like I can't get it out of my mouth, but like how are you double covering a running back and you're pulling an extra guy,
I mean,
basically?
theoretically,
Like
you
that's
should always have like 6 or 7 people running to the
yeah.
backfield, whether it's at the running back or the quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, that's every play.
Mhm.
So yeah, but no, in your secondary, you've got what you're obviously the corner that's on him, some safety help, maybe a linebacker, but yeah, I don't
Yeah, I feel like it's because it's easy. It's just easier to predict when the ball is going to be ran versus you have three other wide receivers out there, and maybe four with a tight end, and
yeah,
you throw in the running back. Like when you're throwing the ball, you have so many more options. So you have to account for all those other things. But if you're running the ball and you have one running back in the backfield, it's like, okay, it's going to him. Like we know it's going to him. He's
yeah,
just so athletic that he can beat us. But we're really damn like we're in the we're a playoff team now. Like we're not playing with the scrubs. We're not playing against a bottom tier NFL
yeah,
team. Like you're in the playoffs at this point. Like you need a game breaking wide receiver
for sure.
versus
Or
some
someone
sort
that's
of
gonna. I don't even care if in the playoffs they get ghosted. Like
yeah.
that means they're getting all the coverage, and obviously, I mean, unless if your quarterback just tanks in the game, there's another wide receiver or wide receivers that are probably pushing 100 yards. And I think
Yeah, if
that's what
Shane
happened to the Eagles.
Falco's
Like they
it,
had
I mean,
like I think in that 2018 Super Bowl they had Corey Clement, Alshon Jeffrey. I think they all almost hit 100 yards. I think Clement broke 100. So when you
let me look it up
when you're able to spread
because
it out
I
there,
know that was a highly offensive game
yeah,
because Brady threw for the record and he lost too.
yeah, that was crazy.
I can't remember what happened. I think if New England either scored another touchdown or Philly didn't score a touchdown. I can't. We did like the score predictions at our Super Bowl party, and I would have won because I had the Patriots maybe winning by like a field. Maybe I had them like 36-33, and I was like, fuck. I was so pissed. What are the stats here? Let's see.
2018, here we go, 41 to 33. Yeah. Uh,
Here we go. Passing completions.
yeah, they had Aguilar too. Yeah. So Jeffrey, Aguilar, and Clement. Well, Clement broke 100, but Aguilar and Alshon Jeffrey were very close.
Yeah,
So they
Aguilar at
almost like
84.
they were really close to 300-yard receivers in that game.
Damn, how did
Wild.
they? I don't understand how Philly won this game. Like I'm looking
No,
at these numbers here, and Brady has 505, and like the running is not good. But
no interceptions. No.
the Patriots had three guys over 110 yards, over
Yeah.
115 yards. Three guys. How did they lose this game?
Jeez, bug flying in my face. I don't know. I looked at the stats too, and I'm like, that doesn't even make any sense.
Like if you showed this to me and like I had no clue what was going on, I would be like, oh, like New England probably won this game by like 25 points. Like maybe their defense got shelled, but because it falls through for 373, like that's still a good number. But Jesus, that's crazy.
Yeah, I have no idea. Just statistically, it looks like they got blown out.
I mean, fucking Danny Amendola had 152 yards. He was the leading receiver. Chris Hogan, who plays lacrosse now, he plays
I
fucking
was like,
lacrosse.
this might have been
128
his
yards.
last year. Rex Burkhead had almost a 50-yard reception. Like, how did they lose? I remember being a fun game though. Shit. Um, but yeah, that was just kind of the argument. I'm like, I think you do. I think you do need a one. I don't know if you
Yeah,
need
you need
like
a
the
one.
top wide receiver. Like, do you have to have Devonte Adams at his prime on your like? I don't know if that's really necessary, but
I mean, again, like you can look at
I would love to have a
the
Devonte.
Chiefs. Like I would love to. But like you look at the Chiefs, like again, they have a top tier pass catcher, but like you wouldn't say statistically he just statistically is not near the top, I think, in like reception yards, right? Like he's obviously he's over 1,000, but he wasn't in that race with AJ Brown and Tyreek Hill whatsoever.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's you don't need a massive like Rashid Rice was their number one guy heading into the playoffs at that point, which Rashid Rice, see you later, buddy. He's gone.
Well, I mean, he didn't like meet his girlfriend, so he'll probably be gone for a while.
No, but he's got some felony charges.
I'm not trying to.
No, I'm saying his
I'm not trying
career's
to make
done.
just make.
Okay. He's going to be selling insurance soon, buddy.
Enterprise rent a car.
Which Tom Brady is teasing a comeback again. Dude, stay. Just stay away.
Okay, you know what?
Like,
I will crown him GOAT if he can take the Dallas Cowboys to the Super Bowl.
I'm thinking like I think they're either saying Vegas or San Fran.
I haven't heard about it.
Maybe I've been hearing New England.
Ugh.
Which like
reuniting with Bill Belichick.
Oh, no, there's no reunite. There's no reuniting
he's
there.
Gone too. I forgot about that.
That's not it. I
know.
I know.
He doesn't have a job right now, does
he? He was at Nebraska with he was like spent a day at Nebraska with Matt Rule, and Matt Rule said in the press conference after their practice, he said, yeah, he literally embarrassed me. Bill Belichick embarrassed me with all the things that he knows and he was picking up that I didn't, that I was not noticing. Which, not a shocker that Matt Rule got embarrassed by a real NFL head coach, but
yeah, because I know he interviewed with like Atlanta, and they didn't. I don't think he has a. I didn't know.
No, he doesn't have a job right now.
Yeah,
he's from like the understanding of someone who's not in like an organization. At least it seemed like he wanted a lot of control, and a lot of organizations are like, we don't really want to give control anymore. Like we have our guys here for a reason. Like we have our GMs here for a reason, and you should be doing your job as a coach. You can put your input in, but we want to put trust in our guys.
Yeah. We got a little bit.
And I fully support that.
We kind of went a little bit off.
No, I mean this is sometimes just how it goes. I mean, especially we're doing. I think especially this is a part in the season where you're kind of, we're
trying to find something to talk about.
We're trying to find more to talk about. And let me say this about Bill Belichick: as much as I hate Bill Belichick, because I'm a Colts fan, I also I have to say this, like I love and hate him, and the same thing with Brady, because I am just infatuated with their drive to win. Like the dynasty, I watch every documentary about Brady and the Patriots, like the Dynasty documentary on Apple TV. I watched that whole thing in like 2 days. Like I literally just sat down and watched the whole thing. That 10-part documentary about Brady on ESPN, The Man in the Arena. I watched that whole thing. Like I even tried to sit down and watch 80 for Brady, and that was horrible.
So I guess we'll try to get back into the schedule.
I don't know how we got there.
Season prediction. We went off the rails. That's fine.
I guess Houston. A couple games against Houston. I think we'll split. I think that's kind of. It feels like Houston is usually something we'll split. And I think. I mean, there was a couple years ago we swept them with Wentz, but they still put up a fight. Like that's what division rivals do. They do it in baseball. I think baseball and football especially, they really put up a lot of fights because they know each other. Like, of course, you're going to put up a fight.
Sure.
So I definitely think we're going to split that one. It's whether are we going to win the big one?
Yeah.
That's the biggest question, and I'm not ready to answer that question whatsoever.
And then of course we play Jacksonville twice.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think we take them both. I really do.
Really?
Yeah, I really do. I know it was we're gonna go 17-0, but I think we will. I mean, I think it's long overdue.
I've been to Jacksonville the last 3 seasons. I've been to those games. I saw the utter collapse, the complete and utter heartbreaking collapse with
That's
Wentz.
Wentz, man.
I
I'm saying
saw
if Richardson keeps going, I say we sweep them.
I
If
watched us
Richardson
get
to go.
shellacked. I watched us get shellacked in the spitting rain with Matt Ryan. I watched us with Minshew just again completely unprepared. And I do this every year. I feel like Sid the Sloth when I say this. We do this every year. But I'm gonna do it again. I think we're gonna win in Jacksonville. I don't know what we'll do in Indianapolis, but I think we'll find a way. I just hope and pray we do. I really I think if Richardson plays, I'll say that if Richardson plays, we'll find a way. If Joe Flacco goes into Jacksonville, we're gonna lose by 60.
So do you think
That just
that we
feels like
split or take both?
I'm gonna say we'll split. I feel like it's really hard to sweep division rivals, especially I've talked a lot of shit about the Jags, but it's not like they're scrubs. They're not. They're gonna come in. They just signed Josh Allen to that big extension. And Trevor Lawrence is still yeah, he's not the best quarterback in football, but he's not horrible. He's gonna be serviceable, and they're not a bad football team whatsoever. We'll split. I hope we take one in Jacksonville and maybe they take one in Indy. I would gladly trade that off. But who knows? I mean, I don't know. But I think we'll split with them.
And the Titans, I'm gonna just go ahead and say we sweep them.
Yeah, I'm gonna be pretty confident in a sweep. Did we swept them last? Yeah, we did. We swept them last year too. Because especially I think the pendulum has to swing back. Luck literally never lost to the Titans. He legit when some Colts fans still don't believe that. When I say Luck never lost, he literally never lost to the Titans. And then it kind of swung back, when Luck retired, and it was okay, we're in the cellar. But I think it's gonna swing back around again. I think we're gonna sweep.
Yeah, I agree. I put that as a sweep. Next game, this will be a good one. The Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, they're kind of
game.
in they're exact. It's in Indy.
Yeah.
I did predict them to go into kind of a soft rebuild. At I think honestly halfway through last year, I was I think they need to go into a soft rebuild. You keep those key pieces, but get some high contract guys off. Get some get some younger guys in. You want to get some younger guys in for Josh. I think we're gonna lose that one. I don't know why. For some reason, I feel like maybe it just has to do with the Phillip Rivers game. But it makes no sense. My feeling makes no sense. My emotions have no bearing on reality because we did kind of beat the shit out of them with Wentz. I feel though at home, doesn't it feel like we struggle at home? It feels like we kind of have trouble with, especially good teams at home. When Tampa came to Indy, we kind of struggled with them, and we played a good game, but we lost, and that was in that good stretch where we beat Buffalo pretty damn good. I'm gonna say we lose that one.
I don't know, man. This is a tough one. I don't.
Because we have to think about
I've never been the biggest Josh Allen advocate. I feel he's got a lot of talent, got a lot. He's obviously not a bad quarterback. It's just he turns it over more in the red zone than anybody else. He's just
I definitely.
And it's I don't know. He doesn't even have Stephon Diggs to throw to. He's got Gabe Davis, but
I think that's gonna help him. I've like kind of thought about it. I think it's gonna help him because I think Diggs, he's you look at a lot of big receivers, like you look at like the Odell and Baker thing, right? Like Baker played well when Odell wasn't on the field, and they have this new kid, Khalil Shakir, who's like he's young, but I think he's gonna be pretty damn good. Like I really like what I've seen from him so far. And I think there is something to like, hey, like these big name guys can put pressure on these quarterbacks to try and force it to them because these teams are paying a lot of money for them. And they're so skilled. You're like, if I just get the ball to him, right? Like if I just get the ball, he'll make some plays. But like defenses pick up on that shit so easy. Like Tyreek, I think, is the only one that's immune to that because you can literally give it to him in the backfield and he's gonna do whatever the fuck he wants. Like he's Bo Jackson in Tecmo Bowl. Like that's just what it is. He's too fast for anyone else. I just something. It's like I think we have to account for the rookie moments, like for Richardson, because you're gonna have those moments too. Like we only saw 5 real quarters of football from him, and they were fantastic. I loved them. They were awesome, but it was 5 quarters, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't. We had, and although this is a sophomore season, he got to sit for a year and really watch a veteran in Gardner perform and succeed. I mean, succeed beyond all of our wildest dreams, I think.
Yeah.
I think he's still going to have those rookie moments. And I think Buffalo is still a team where it's like, this is kind of a big game. Like you're coming into this, it's a big quarterback matchup. Richardson and Allen going against each other. You have Joe Flacco sitting on the sideline. Like, he's the real big quarterback matchup. But I think he's going to have some rookie moments, and I think it might come out against Buffalo.
I think I'm going to leave it with a win just because I'm not sure they're a wide receiver. I think it'll be a great game. It's one that I'm definitely like iffy about. Just kind of that kind of like what you were saying. But I'm going to go ahead and say that the Colts will win that game at home. And let's see, next I'm going to do all the home games first because that's how it's listed here. They have the Miami Dolphins.
Miami. I think we'll win that. Like, yeah, I'm gonna go win there. I think they made a lot of really good moves this offseason. They've gotten older, and there's a lot of pressure on Tua. Like this, I mean, this has to be the year. And I look at like people complain about quarterbacks, and they complain about Tua, right? Like they are American politics right now. Like that's the best way I can equate it. The Miami Dolphin fan base, they are Republicans and Democrats. It's Tuanon versus the anti-Tuas, right? Which Tuanon is a real name for the fan base of Tua. That is the real name. There is a Twitter called Tuanon. Look it up. But they are so split on Tua. I think there's a lot of pressure on Tua to succeed. I don't know if it's going to be the year. Like it kind of felt like this was the year to do it. Like this was the year that they had to do it. Like they started off so fucking hot, right? Like they put up the 60, 70 points on Denver, right? And it was like, oh my God, these guys are unstoppable. And then they just fizzle out like they always do. It gets too cold for the Dolphins. It gets too cold for the Fish. They freeze. And they lost again. Like this is like, it felt like that was the year, and now they're going into this next year. Tyreek might get traded, is what some rumors are swirling about as well. So I'm gonna go with a win there.
I'm gonna go the other way. I mean, we're disagreeing quite a bit, and I'm only saying that. I mean, I think if Tyreek Hill does get traded, then that might sway my prediction. But right now,
where is that? That's in Indy, right?
Yeah, I'm doing home games right now.
Okay.
So, but it's just with the way that the Colts secondary was and how Tyreek Hill is. I love Juju Brents, and I think Jalen Jones did well enough, especially for where he was picked. But I just don't have a whole lot of faith in this, in the second. Oh, I don't think we said anything about Blackman getting re-signed either. I don't know if we had.
I think I might have mentioned it at the top of the last one.
Okay.
I think I said like, oh, we signed Julian Blackman, but then
those that missed it, he is re-signed.
That was it.
We might have. Oh yeah, we did. We did the mock draft, and I mentioned it anyway.
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah,
because we were talking about safeties, I forgot.
Yeah,
But
we were
yeah,
talking about safeties.
yeah. But I don't know if Tyreek's still there. I just don't know if I have. I mean, the secondary is still pretty young. I think this might be one of those ones that kind of get away from the Colts. Like they let up one too many big plays and can't get back. I just feel like that might
That
be the way
sounds
that this
about
one
right,
goes.
to be honest. Like that's how. I mean,
Can we just for a home game with the Steelers? Can we mark that as a win?
it's Russ. I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm getting a little nervous about those Steelers. Like it's something about Pittsburgh, and maybe it is just being Colts fans. Like we always get nervous with the Steelers, and it felt a little bit like we got the monkey off our backs last year. But like to me, one win does not convince it whatsoever. I'm
I'll
gonna go
take
with
the
a win
Colts to
there.
win it. I'm gonna take.
I'm actually gonna say a win as well. I think Steichen really, really wants to get those curses out of the way. Like he
Yeah, and
wants
like
to get those hexes off.
what the Colts defense did in Denver against Russell Wilson, I just you know I don't have any trust in whoever else. Did they get who was it Fields or did they check Fields?
Justin Fields as well. Yeah,
They did get Fields. Yeah, so
he's gonna be
it's
their backup.
Wilson Fields. I don't care. I mean,
Unless I think unless there's like some injury, it's gonna be Russ. Like
yeah,
they wouldn't bring him there for no reason. Like especially knowing that Fields was still there at that point.
but yeah, I'm gonna take that as a win. So, I'm sorry, I'm trying to keep track of where we're at. 1,
Yeah.
4, 5, 6. Okay, I forgot. Just so we can look back on this towards the end of the season and be like, oh, we were pretty close or we were way off. Uh, let's see. Steelers, the Chicago Bears. I'm going to go ahead and mark that as a win.
Yeah. I think I'll mark that as a win.
That top pick option again next year.
I think we do have a little bit of the I think there is a little bit of a like bugaboo when it comes to the Bears over us. I think like when teams lose to other teams in the Super Bowls, I think there always is like kind of a bugaboo when it comes to that. There's always something a little bit in their mind. Are they going to do a what is it 2024? No, they won't do a celebration for that. Cuz sometimes like I know the Saints it lined up perfectly. I think in 2019 it lined up for them to do the 10-year anniversary of their Super Bowl win when we played them on Monday Night Football and they scored like fucking 60 points
Yeah,
on us with Jacoby
horrible.
Brissett.
Yeah,
But I don't think it's lining up for any sort of celebration. Yeah, I'll go with a win. I think we actually
I
I
don't
had
see
a guy
anything
from
scary right now about Chicago.
we had a Pro Football Focus guy on the show and he talked really really highly of Caleb Williams. Like a lot of the the character stuff is like bullshit. Um, And I'm like, as I heard that, I'm like, okay, I'm getting higher and higher on Caleb Williams, but I think like they're probably going to struggle. I think they're going to win like 7 or 8 games this year. I think it's going to be a positive year for the Bears, but I think we're going to be able to win this one.
Yeah. This will be a really good game.
Yeah.
This is the last. Well, I don't know what the order is, but it's the last listed home game. It's the Detroit Lions.
Tough uniform matchup, double blue.
Yeah.
I don't like those I don't like those uniform matchups. Maybe we have to go alternate uniform there. Because like especially like it's the two blues or even blue and white, like both teams.
Indy Knights, baby. I'm just saying, throw out the black.
I'll have a take about the Indy Knights in a little bit.
I love that uniform. I don't care what anybody says.
Detroit, I'm gonna go with a loss there. I'm a big believer in Detroit. I think they're gonna be back in the NFC title game. I hope a Super Bowl appearance. I have a buddy who's a really, really big Lions fan.
Against us, of course.
Yeah, Colts Lions would be perfect.
Oh, yeah. Blew it out again.
He's a big Lions fan, so I always root for him. But I think they're going to take this one. I think this is. Although I will never forget my favorite Andrew Luck game of all time. 2012 came back versus Matthew Stafford through the game-winning touchdown pass as the clock expires as he's running across the line of scrimmage. I think he threw it to Donnie Avery if that's a name that any other Colts fans out there can remember. Donnie
Didn't he get
Avery.
like tackled at the legs too on that one, like as he's throwing, or was that a different throw?
I think that one was the Bengals one.
Oh yeah, he
In
was like getting wrapped up at the
2013.
legs, and he like just a
He
dime to
threw
the
a
end.
fucking dot. He
Yeah,
throws like a 40-yard and he
like
drops it in
dime
the bread
as he's getting
basket.
tackled. It was beautiful.
What oh, you know what? In relation to OJ, because I was talking to my mom about
Jesus.
this, because OJ Simpson drafted Andrew Luck in 2018 in his fantasy draft. An hour later, Andrew Luck retires.
Dude, don't even look. Okay, so I think it was the year that was it Saquon Barkley got hurt in like the first quarter of that same season. So
Yeah.
my keeper that year was Andrew Luck, and we like just were doing the draft. Like we did the draft like 3 days before he retired. So he was my keeper, and then I drafted Saquon Barkley with my first overall pick. I was like, commit fantasy
that's
suicide.
awful.
Oh, that was I
That's
didn't get
horrible.
last, but it was pretty freaking close. Like my season immediately.
Yeah, I was talking with my mom about it, and my mom was like, because I was like, yeah, I will never forget where I was sitting. Like I was sitting on the couch and you were
Oh,
home. Like we
I was
were,
at a restaurant with my now wife and her friend, and we were sitting there at Buffalo Wild Wings having a good old time. And then all of a sudden, Andrew Luck, they put on the big screen in tears. Yeah, I'm gonna have to walk away from football. I'm like, son of a bitch.
yeah,
I freaking lost it.
I will never. I just remember sitting there scrolling. I was frantically like, my mom was like, I was like she heard me gasp. She
This
was
has
like, "What's
got to be
wrong? What's wrong?"
bullshit.
And that frantic mom voice of like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And I'm like, she literally sees me just going through my phone, like furiously typing. And I'm like, 2018, or 2019, I was 17 at that point. And I'm just like fear. And my mom like knows like I'm a sports fan. So I'm constantly yelling at the TV for whatever reason. And she did not even know like that was literally the day my fandom died. Like that was probably the worst day in my fandom, any sports fandom history. Like I've never had a worse day than that. And I was talking with her about it today, and she was like, "I don't remember that." I was like, "I will never forget the exact spot I was sitting in. Like I could literally go to that house because we don't live there anymore. I could literally go to that house and point to that exact spot because I know where I was when that happened.
So
I
terrible.
remember my steps. I remember my thoughts. I remember everything." And my mom was just like, What is wrong with you?" I was like, "I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me."
Ridiculous. Oh man. Oh, bad times. And I'll go through the road games. Colts go to the New York Jets.
Oh, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, is he even gonna be there? I mean, is he even gonna be playing at that point? No.
Oh man, I just remember that reel that I saw of like highlights of Aaron Rodgers' season. He runs out of the football field with the flag,
Yeah.
and then the video ends. Like, oh,
There's like a couple good passes. That was it. The Jets always feel kind of weird. Like those matchups always feel weird. Like I think we kind of have that because I remember there
kind of
was like
like
a
a
few
trap
games
game.
with luck. Yeah, there was a few games with luck where like we got our ass kicked, and it was like, why? Why are we getting our ass kicked here?
Yeah,
I'm gonna mark that one as a loss. How many losses am I at right now?
that is also what I am gonna say. Just like kind of depending on maybe early in the season, the Colts, whatever. But this kind of feels like it might be a trap game later. I don't know. If you put that in an L, that puts you at 7-5 right
I'm at 7-5.
now. Yeah, I'm sitting
Actually,
8-4.
yeah, that sounds about right. I'm 7-5. I think. Yeah. Okay.
All right, and then they draw the Patriots.
When?
Well, I mean, like next on the list is the pay. I don't know when the game is, but
Yeah. When? Um, I am. I'm actually like shockingly, I'm kind of a believer in what the Patriots can be. Like everyone thinks they're like, oh, they're going into rebuild, they're going into the dark ages. They're not going to win they're not going to win more than 5 games for the next 5 years. No, their defense was still elite under Bill Belichick. Like they were the first team in NFL history to lose 3 straight games and not give up 10 points in those 3 straight games.
their
Colts were
offense was
one of
just
them.
that terrible.
Yeah, their offense was just so bad. I mean, everyone or a lot of people know what happened in the London or the Germany game. Mac Jones threw one of the worst interceptions I've ever seen. Bailey Zappi tried to do the fake spike, and then he threw a pick immediately, and that
it's
cut the
beautiful,
game.
glorious.
Goal. Oh God, I wanted to kill myself watching that. It reminded me of Colts Broncos Thursday Night Football. A lot. I think the Patriots are actually really close. I think they're closer than we expect. I think they're an elite. I think they're a good quarterback and a good wide receiver away from really finding their footing. But we're not losing to them this year. It's just not happening. I don't believe in that.
I agree. I'm going to say they beat the Patriots. Let's see. Denver Broncos.
When who do they have? Who do they even what is their situation? They're horrible. What
Yeah,
is
I'm
their
putting this in as
situation?
a win. I'm not even going to.
Do they have anyone or anything?
I
And
don't know.
who's their quarterback?
Hold on.
Trevor Siemian?
Let me look. Did they even have a pick this year?
Probably not.
Denver Broncos. Let me look at their roster just overall. All right. Player roster. Oh my God. I'd have to go to the UFL. Jesus. Let's see. Oh, why do they do that? It's all. I hate this so much. Depth chart. Here we go. It's like the whole roster and it was alphabetized. Like that doesn't do me any good.
Oh yeah.
That still doesn't do me any good.
Well, while you're searching for that, anyone, if you're a baseball fan and you're listening to this show, the Pirates and the Phillies played tonight. And at the beginning of the game, obviously it starts at 0-0, so it just spells out poop on the score bug. So that's pretty awesome.
Let's see. After releasing the Broncos currently features, oh my God,
Jared Stidham
Yeah.
and Ben DiNucci.
Yeah.
Gucci DiNucci.
You got to believe that's going to change.
Is it? Is it?
Yeah. Okay, running back Javonte Williams. I finally found it. Cortland Sutton, Josh Reynolds, Marvin Mims Jr. is their top wide receivers. Adam Troutman is their tight end.
Yeah, that's a win.
Oof. Yeah, I'm going to win. Let's see. Win Broncos. Let's see. So you got 9 wins. All right. And the New York Giants.
I don't think they improved their offensive line that much.
And they don't have Barkley.
Yeah, they lost Barkley as well. I'm somewhat of a believer in. I think Daniel Jones can be better than what he was. I think he was stuck behind a horrendous offensive line. Like he was that opening night game against Dallas. He was. I mean, it felt like in the replacements when they were, or in not in the replacements, in the longest yard when everyone was pissed at Adam Sandler because they thought he was going to throw the game, or he was going to throw the game again, but then he was like, no, I'm not doing that. So I'm going to go with a win here, unless they make some really big moves to improve the offensive line. I'll go with a win.
Likewise, I don't see a whole lot on the Giants, at least not right now, that really puts the fear in me.
Yeah.
And again, sometimes the Colts have been one to surprise in games where, they shouldn't. But, yeah. Can't remember which game. I know they have a road game. It might be the Patriots. I think the Patriots is overseas, so that might be more of a neutral ground game, too.
They're doing another overseas
I think it's
game?
Germany they're playing. I think Germany they're playing the Patriots.
I don't know.
I think that's what they said.
I don't know if they hold on.
November 12th.
The Bears and the Vikings have
No.
designated
Maybe not.
London games.
Maybe I'm thinking about last year.
That was definitely last because we played in Germany last year.
I thought the Colts were supposed to have. Colts are going international. No, that's a YouTube video. I don't want to pull that up.
So the Vikings, we could play the Vikings over in London. Or Jacksonville in London because Jacksonville shares the team with London. But we could go over to London and play Minnesota as an away game, which I'm perfectly fine. I hate losing home games. I have an opinion on
maybe they're not
international.
going overseas.
I think the only overseas game that has been decided was Brazil, which is the Eagles and what did they decide? They just announced it this week. Eagles.
I'm thinking about last year because they definitely played Patriots. Never mind. Okay, so disregard. I'm an idiot. I could have sworn I thought. No, okay, maybe not.
I think the international games are national.
Yeah, you're right. I think you just muted yourself.
I just unmuted it.
I was like,
here we go. Okay.
Like, did my internet go off? But yeah, I was mistaken. I could have sworn, but like, it's not
games. Just put the UFL over there. Just put the United Football League. Am I cut again?
No, you're good.
Oh, okay. Sorry, okay. I just wanted my second monitor's flickering a little bit. Just put the UFL over there. Just send them over there. Play over there. They're fine. Don't
The Rock owns it. He's not going to keep going overseas.
don't put the national your highest level of professional sports over there. It just doesn't make sense. You fuck them up. It's ridiculous. I don't understand it. I mean, it's money. That's all it is. The NFL just cares about money. They don't care about players. They don't care about player safety. They don't care about any of that.
It's like almost when you have to do these overseas games, it's like you should probably have a bye the following week or some shit. It's just.
Well, I think they're going to try and find a way to they're going to try and find a way to get that 18th game, and then they're going to say, hey, we have the 18th game. We're going to need 2 byes now. We're just going to sandwich it in between a bye, basically.
Yeah.
That's what they might try and do.
Whatever. 2 more games left that we haven't talked about. The Green Bay Packers.
I really like Green Bay this year. But I think the last 2 times we've played the Packers, we beat them. Actually, the last 3? Is that right? Because I know we beat them when Chuck Pagano had cancer. We beat them in that game. We weren't expected to. I don't remember the other game. I think we did beat them this. I think Andrew beat them again. And then I know we beat them with Rivers. That was a fucking fantastic game. We couldn't stop shooting ourselves in the foot at the end of the game. I think we had 10 holding penalties in a row trying to close the game out. But we did win that game in overtime. Blankenship game-winning field goal.
2004. Let's see.
Let me look up our history.
2004, the Colts won. 2008, the Colts lost. 2012, the Colts won. 2016,
okay, we've won
the Colts
3 in a row.
Won, and 2020, the Colts won. So yeah,
dang, they did not. That's crazy. They did not play each other all that much. Well, because you look at all their history, and they played 40.
Not much.
No, they played 46. 40. Hold on. Yeah, 46 times in history. But you go back in their history, and it's been a big jump. And then they played a lot when they were in the same league in the 60s and stuff.
Yeah. But recently, it's not a whole lot.
Yeah.
Every 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. I'm gonna go Colts again here. I think we're gonna find a way to win that one. I just love when we play each other too. I love the color clash in the uniforms.
It's so fast. One looks like a giant bowl of snot, and the other one is blue and white. So
I love it. I love ugly
hey,
uniforms. I
Curtis
love
Feller's
gross ones. Oh, hey Curtis.
do you remember the those ugly ass? I mean, it wasn't really ugly, but it was. I think it was played in the. It was a Jets game. I don't remember who the other team was, but they did the like the all color uniforms. So it was like it might have been maybe not the Patriots, but maybe Buffalo, where they were all red and the Jets were all green on a green football field, and people that were colorblind were like, I don't fucking know what's happening. I can't see shit. Like, why would you do color rushes red and green on a green football field?
I'm pretty sure it was the
Nike.
Nike. It was like a early 2010s when Nike did the color rush uniforms, and I remember I hated the Colts color rush. I just because the Colts unis can be like, I don't know, they're very basic. You know, you
I feel like the Colts, like their color rush is the same as like them wearing white. Like it's the regular uniform.
I remember I just wanted something a little different, like maybe like do like a gray, like you know,
blue.
something just different. Because like
blue.
you know, like you just think you look at the Colts uniforms. When have we really changed? Like when have we really had something different? We've been the same
and
thing.
everybody freaked out.
Which again, I
love those uniforms.
do not like Indy Nights, but I love different alternates, but I do not like Indy Nights. I hate
Indy Nights.
and
I loved it.
and I'm pretty sure the KKK has a headquarters in Indiana, and Indiana Knights is not the right name to the Knights. I mean, the KKK's, the people in the KKK call themselves Knights. You can't do that.
But it's not. It's night, and I like.
No,
night,
but when you pronounce it,
like, I mean, can it be? Never mind. I'm not going to get. This is going to get us kicked off of YouTube. Next game is Minnesota Vikings.
Are they going to draft a quarterback? What is their situation right now? Because they don't have Kirk.
Yeah, I think they're probably drafting a quarterback in this one.
I feel like this is going to be another rookie moment game. I don't know why. I feel like it has to do with the purple. I feel like we might lose this one because I don't see us winning 12 games this year. I really don't. I think I see us with like a 3-win increase, which is really good. But I think 12 wins is a little much. So going 11-6, I'm pretty solid with, and I think like that you could have like a rookie moment in the Minnesota game when, especially like a game you really expect to win, like a big trap game.
Especially with if they still have Justin Jefferson again, I'll roll back into the secondary. Like if they got a rookie that can at least put it in the area, you get burned on a play or two, and that's the game. So
yeah.
We disagreed on some games, but we have the same finishing record. So we'll see how that pans out. Both 11-6. Kind of already discussed the uniform. I guess we'll kind of go into like why you think that, but man, I've always wanted them to throw black. Like I want to buy the helmet. I'm not spending a few $100s to do it. I've always wanted them to do black in the uniform, and I like that contrast of the black, the Colt blue. I loved it. I thought it was great.
The problem is there's a white outline on the Colt, because I have also been a big supporter of the black, which I've also been a big supporter of bringing back the blue face mask. Bring back the blue face mask. That is necessary. That reminds me of I wasn't alive, but like those late 90s, early Peyton years. Those are awesome. So they have to bring those back. I wish they would have done the early 60s logo, like the horse kicking the ball through. I have a hat. I found a hat at Goodwill for like $3 with that logo on it. I was ecstatic. I was running out of Goodwill. I was like, holy shit, I can't believe I found this. And I live in Florida, so that's really rare to find a Colts hat. I wish they would have done that, but I'd
love to see an update of like those 60s, that little horse thing. I'd love to see kind of like an upgrade of that. Yeah, because I think that just if you're going to do, if it's just an alternate, that's fine. But every time, they've got the state mark, the staple, the shoe. But like maybe do like an updated old school, like the horse, whatever. That'd be
I don't
Gotta
need
be
to see
pretty
the
fucking
shoe
fun.
every time. Like
Yeah.
I really don't.
You
And
know what
it's
they're called?
like the C, I could understand. I don't really like. I mean, I like the new design of like the Colt. You know, it says like the lettering Colts
Mhm.
on it. I like the new design. Some people have put the big C on the helmet. I do not like that. It
Mhm.
makes you look like the Cleveland Indians or the Cleveland Guardians, like
Yeah.
just the blue Cleveland Guardians. That's not what I want.
Mhm.
Or the Dodgers. Really, I mean, it looks a little bit like a Dodger D. I really hate the white outline on the Indiana Knights Colts thing. If they just did the blue with like the white holes and then the black helmet, I'd be fine.
Yeah.
And the jersey, the it's like like the texturing on the jersey. Like I wish they went, if they're gonna go black, go black. Go all black. The
Yeah.
black helmet with like the jersey cotton, you know what I mean? Like, have you ever seen like jersey cotton sheets and there's like kind of like a white texturing? That's what the
Yeah.
jersey looks like, and I despise that.
It should have been black helmet, whatever. Just black uniform with the blue letter. I think is what it should have been.
Yeah. Or I would have been okay with white lettering too. I would have been fine with
Maybe.
that. Maybe, and
I
then
like
or
the
you do the
contrast of that black and blue.
yeah, like
I'm just biased.
that they fucked that up so much. It really didn't make sense to me. Like, why would you go full black helmet and then go like mostly blue, and they had like black trim. They had like a black
Yeah.
collar. I was like, the black collar looks, what is this, middle school? Like are,
Yeah.
are we watching like Pee Wee football here? That's
Okay. I'll be
that's
more
my
specific. The Indiana and the Knights, I love the helmet.
yeah.
I love the helmet. But yeah, I feel like it should have been like jet black uniform, either, blue, white lettering, but it it should have been kind of like that color rush kind of. I mean, you're calling it Indy Knights, it should probably be mostly black, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Night is literally black. That is the definition of
Yeah.
black or of night. It's not blue, like it's not like jersey
A little bit
cotton
of black.
and black. Like, yeah. And I don't like the matte black either. I like the shiny black because isn't it kind of more of a matte black?
Yeah, it was a little more matte black. It wasn't too.
I like more of the
Should have been a
shiny
little
black.
shinier. Yeah,
I like
I'll agree
that
with that.
more. So they really
Just
missed on that.
improve
But
upon it.
huh?
Improve upon it because I've always
Yeah.
wanted them to incorporate black into their gear in some way.
Well, I brought up the topic of uniforms because the NFL announced they're going to allow a third alternate helmet this year. Which again, I think the move, which I don't know if they're going to do, they probably won't. The Colts are like that. They don't want to put the effort in. They they have to do the horse, like the horse. Like that's the only thing you could do, in my eyes. You do maybe a blue helmet, or just do a white helmet with the blue face mask and the horse, and do whatever the fuck you want with the body. Like, I just want an alternate helmet. Like I think the helmet's the most important thing. I could, you know, I maybe I could see like do more of like a grayish uniform maybe and do like a gray helmet because I feel like we should use gray a little more. Gray, and I think gray goes with blue pretty well too. And I feel like we don't use that enough.
Let me see. Oh, I had a question, and I know with Anthony Richardson, let's just say, okay, if you can predict the future, but you can only use the ability one time, and you can look into the future and say, man, if we brought back Tom Brady, and it would guarantee a Super Bowl this year, but you would also see that for at least the next 10 years after, you wouldn't. Would you take that deal?
No, because I think it's cheap. You're bringing
quick.
in a mercenary. That's what you're doing. That's why, because I live in Florida, there's tons of Bucks fans around. They're like, we won 2 Super Bowls. I was like, no, Tom Brady won a Super Bowl, and then you won another Super Bowl in the early 2000s. Tom Brady won that Super Bowl. Like, I think they could have put together whatever team, but they're not winning the Super Bowl. Like, it's just.
And I wanted to present this question because of all the annoying ass people on, Facebook or whatever Colts pages that are, oh, we need to, whatever. I'm like, okay, if you could guarantee a Super Bowl this season, but it was Tom Brady to do it.
Actually, I don't even. If you would say if you could say Aaron Rodgers or if you would say Patrick Mahomes, like we put him on the team, I would still say no. I think there is
My
so
hatred
much
for Tom
more.
Brady.
there is so much more of a like like a satisfaction of investing in a team. And yeah, maybe you failed in the past, you kept failing, but you finally get over the hump versus like Brady, like he comes in year one and you immediately win the Super Bowl. Like, yeah, that's awesome. But this guy, like you didn't, what did you build? You went out, they're the New York Yankees. Like it's the New York Yankees of football. You're spending tons of money, or the Dodgers are the equivalent now. Like if the Dodgers go out and win the World Series, everyone's gonna be like, "Yeah, of course you fucking did, because you spent $1 billion on Shohei
Well,
Ohtani
unfortunately for them,
and
the seasons aren't
Yoshinobu
60 games
Yamamoto."
anymore.
That's true. Yeah, that's if I'll say this, if the Red Sox won that World Series, I probably would have killed myself because I wouldn't have wanted them to win that World Series, the 60 game season World Series, because I wouldn't have counted it in my eyes.
They won their participation trophy.
Yeah. But yeah, like if the Dodgers win the World Series this year, there's no status in my eyes as because like I look at other teams, like you look at the Texas Rangers when they won the World Series, there's like satisfaction as a fan from outside of the fan base. You're like, this
Cubs,
team has
man.
struggled. Yeah, they finally got over the hump. They have struggled and struggled. And yes, they did go out and get some free agents. Like they did go out and get, well, Jacob deGrom like didn't really do much, but they went out and got Max Scherzer. They went out and got a bunch of free agents, but they also developed some guys. And I've also watched them. We've watched them. They had literally
I've
one of the.
I've been a fan since I was like, since I knew what a baseball was, and
I
I know where I was that moment. I know how I reacted to it. I know,
yeah,
like I remember everything about it. And
I remember watching I remember watching 2011 Game 6. Like I'll never forget and I was 9. I'll still never forget David Freeze's home run. Like that's that's just like something like you remember as an outsider of the fan base. You're like, that's awesome. And when I watched the Bucks do it, I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
Tom Brady won another Super Bowl.
Tom Brady won that. It was like, as a Cubs fan, whatever. I if you're not a Yankees fan, you hate the Yankees. So
yeah.
Aside from the Cubs winning, like my favorite World Series was Diamondbacks and the Yankees. And never forget, Craig Counsell, how he held the bat, miles above his head. He just lobbed it right. And fucking Randy Johnson pitched Game 6 and closed Game 7. I was like, dude, that's my guy.
Yeah.
that was my second favorite World Series moment.
There's absolutely an element of satisfaction when it comes to it. And when you bring in those mercenaries, those one-year mercenaries, like even you want to talk about the Red Sox in 2018, like people were pissed because they spent a lot of money, but a lot of that was also homegrown talent. Like Mookie Betts and Xander Bogaerts were two of the biggest pieces of that team, and they were homegrown talent. Xander Bogaerts won the 2013 World Series with the Red Sox, which not a lot of people really know. He came up in September of that year. So like there is a satisfaction of seeing those guys. And I think football is different too. Like baseball is a lot more of a team sport in that sense where like you bring in one guy, it doesn't change the whole thing. But like even if you look at the Chiefs when they won in 2019, that felt like still felt like like good for them. Like that's awesome. Like they developed this big quarterback and they've struggled for so many years and they also like built this team around him. So it's like, that's awesome. Good for them. And, now people hate the Chiefs. I don't hate the Chiefs, believe it or not. I really don't. I think it's incredible.
The outside attention surrounding the Chiefs is what annoys
me. That's annoying. I really like people hate like the ESPN posted a video of Mahomes and his family watching the solar eclipse and people are like, "Oh, you guys are glazing." I was like, that's the Super Bowl MVP quarterback. Like of course they're going to post him more. Like what the fuck are you talking about? Like they're marketing. This is what marketing is. You post your most popular players doing like normal human shit when he does like superhuman things on the football field. That's just what you do.
If you want to look at homegrown teams, I mean, they were signed like what 11 or 12 of the guys this offseason that he drafted. Like
Yeah.
That's the definition of doing it. They've gotten very little outside help. I mean, I think the most recent big acquisition from outside is Buckner. Like
Yeah.
I mean, they traded for Moss, but he was kind of, he was kind of a
He's
one-off.
not a big acquisition.
No, he wasn't. But I'm just saying that
Yeah.
he's done little pieces here and there free agent. I mean, he tried to sign what's his face that the Texans got this year. What was his name? I had it before the show started.
Oh,
he took less money
Daniel
to go
Hunter.
to Houston. Yeah, thank you. He took less money to go to Houston, so he was trying to do another big acquisition. It just didn't go his way. But everyone that's on this team has been with the team for quite a while. Most were drafted. It's like it's hopefully it pays off very soon.
Like even the Rams, like and if people want to call me a Tom Brady hater, the Rams didn't feel like, oh, they finally did it. It was like, okay, they have Matt Stafford from the Lions, which is awesome. I'm glad Matt Stafford got his. Don't get that mistaken. I'm glad Matt Stafford got his.
For sure.
OBJ was one of their big guys. He was a giant and a Brown. Like all these guys are merchants that came in. Like there's obviously individual players you're happy for, but like these like big guys, these people that mortgage their futures to just go out and buy a championship. It's like, this isn't satisfying. This doesn't feel satisfying whatsoever as an outsider. And I'm sure as an insider, it feels a little bit more satisfying. But like the Chiefs, the past 2 years, what have they really bought?
Like they had to get rid of one of their stars because of cap issues. Like they traded away.
And he was a homegrown talent. They drafted him.
They drafted him. Like they had to get rid of him.
Yeah, they drafted Travis Kelce in 2013 or 20. Was it 2013? Yeah, 2013.
Yeah.
I think it was 2013.
I think so.
So like
close.
The majority of the key pieces are all homegrown, and like obviously you're going to have outside guys that get signed in, but the key pieces, they've been there. They've been through the struggle, and
like everyone was shitting on them taking Patrick Mahomes and he won't amount to whatever.
Yeah.
Oops.
Whoops. Well, the Chicago Bears are doing that right now. They're going whoops.
Well, we kind of dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah. But yeah, I would so to answer your question and finality, I would absolutely 100% not have Tom Brady on my team. I wouldn't be pissed, but if we won the Super Bowl, I would be like, well, this feels a little tainted. Even if it wasn't Brady again, if it was Rodgers, if it was Mahomes, if it was Allen, if it was XYZ.
Ask that because everyone's like, oh, we need to win a Super Bowl. Okay, well, what if we could do it? But this is how. Would you still want it?
Yeah.
Like,
it's cheap, and you're gonna have that. People are gonna hold that over your head for the rest of your life.
Especially Patriots fans. Oh, you had to bring in the goat to win.
Yeah.
Like,
no. Tony, that would kill me.
Nope. No, I'll pass. Yeah, I think that was the. I'm sure I had another question, but I can save it for the next show. And yeah, it might be that time already. We're already past an hour.
I think it's time.
We're past an hour. I think it's time. I'm tired. I've been up since 4. So on that note, thank you everybody for joining Unstable. And again, we're trying to pop these out every Friday. So join us again next week. Again, make sure you like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family. And also hop over to the AFC South Show on Curtis Podcast, and of course, Chaotically Intolerant. Show some support. You know, we got families and stuff, man. We're trying to make some monies. Help us out. We definitely appreciate all the support. Thank you guys. Have a great night. See y'all next time.